Marhaba and hello once again. I'm American historian Dr. Jack Dempsey, living in Crete these days, and with me is my brother and dear friend Muhammad Ismael, a Palestinian historian living in the Gaza territory in Deir al Balah. Today is Saturday, December 27th, 2025, and we've managed to get in touch. Hello, brother. Today, so we thought we'd give you a quick
Hello.
report on what is happening on the ground in Gaza on this day to real people, real, ordinary, if you'll excuse the term, citizens of Gaza and Muhammad's family. He has a wife, Gada, a beautiful son, Jihad or Jojo, twin daughters, Lena and Dina, and a 10-month-old daughter named Mary. And as far as we knew from last time when we spoke a week ago, Mohammed, you were getting food all right, but water is a real challenge to get drinkable water. You said Gaza is like a jungle with crime waves going on. You never know what danger is around the next corner. So, with that introduction, brother, it's so good to see you as always. We haven't been able to get to contact as regularly as we would like, but it's wonderful to see you today. We have a good, clear picture, and let's see what we can do. How are you, brother, and how's the family?
Uh, Thank you, brother, for this brilliant introduction. It is a brief introduction, but it is our situation here in Gaza, as you know, it is very terrible. These days, we are uh, preparing for the storm. There is a potential storm. This storm will start maybe tonight or tomorrow morning. The weather this year is very harsh. It is a very harsh winter here in Gaza.
Yes.
Just a few days ago, we have witnessed a very mighty storm. It was so destructive. We paid a lot of price, a lot of casualties. Almost 23 persons were killed either by freezing or killed under the collapsing concrete parts of the buildings.
Yes, and
Also,
just to
yes,
set the stage, Mohammed, you're still living in your house, which is damaged but miraculously still standing in an area that is totally destroyed. So we don't know. Maybe angels are looking over your house, but if people have missed the news footage of these storms, driving wind and rain, wildest weather you can imagine short of a hurricane. You could see entire tents with families in them being blown up into the air just by the weather. And these tents and their refugees surround your house, Muhammad. They fill Deir al Balah and all the other still somehow surviving communities. It's the worst thing you can imagine. Little children pushing water out of their tents with a push broom. On top of everything else, it is just such a cruel reality you are facing.
yeah. I will give you a panoramic view for those people, how they live inside the tents. I will give you some panoramic view. In the previous days, as I mentioned, after the recent storm, we have thousands of tents were totally demolished. It is a big number. We are talking about thousands, not dozens, not hundreds, but thousands of tents were totally destroyed or used to fly with the air. Here, if you look in my surrounding, I can see three scenes. The first scene, I see some fathers, some parents are making maintenance for the roof of their tents. We have some gaps in the roof, and those gaps are bringing some leakage inside, leaking the water of the rain inside the tent. So the
Yes.
first thing I will give you is for those people who are making the maintenance for the roofs of their tents. Another scene, other people, some children, some boys are bringing some sand, carrying some sand with their buckets, and they are heaping some heaps of sands around their tents in order to defense against the water. When the water is flooding, you need such defense in order to protect the walls, the
Yes.
sides, the tent. Yeah.
Yes.
That's the second scene. The third scene, as you just mentioned, when we have the peak of the rain, some tents are turning into pools from inside. So some poor children are carrying plastic buckets and carrying the water outside of the tent. It is a very, very painful scene. Entirely, it is a very, very awful panoramic view. If you want to look at those people, how they manage, how they do with this disaster.
I have seen some film clips, Muhammad, of young boys doing exactly what you described, carrying buckets of sand to build a little barrier or berm around the edge of the tent to keep the water from flowing in. But it's gushing through holes in the ceiling, and these children, they are barefoot, they are in shorts, they weigh about 50 pounds, they look as skinny as you could imagine, and they are pushing knee-deep water out of the tent, and it simply comes back in by another direction. They are up to their knees in freezing cold water. I don't know how your young children are so brave, brother.
Yeah.
It's a miracle to me.
Yes, brother. Actually, this war has made all the children of Gaza, has made them, all of them, they became men. They became men, not children. There is no childhood. All the children have lost their childhood. There is no childhood. There is no toys, no fun, no. But you have to do the duty of the man. You have to carry water, you have to carry sand, you have to wander in the wilderness in order to find some wood for the fire, so your parents, so your mother can make the food, can make the dinner for you. Yeah, so they are carrying very, very heavy burden. They are not children, but they are men.
Yes, and now two things, Muhammad. In our last program, you mentioned that you had seen many posters. Have you seen this child? There are many children, little children, that are disappearing, so to speak, in the Gaza neighborhoods. Have you seen or heard any more about this terrible problem? Who is taking the children? Why? What is happening with that problem, brother?
Yeah, actually, brother, this is very, very mysterious issue. It is so mysterious. No one is just trying to talk about it. Even if you look in the local media,
yes,
no one is talking about it.
Nothing.
That's why. Yeah. That's why no one is notified in the world outside Gaza about this disaster. Yeah, maybe just very few people who are talking, who are raising their voices in order to talk about this problem. Yeah, actually, we have a lot of people day after day are disappearing. It is a very, very severe headache for a lot of people. And that's why there is no sense of peace here in Gaza. You doesn't feel with any sort of peace. You cannot let your children go far away. You cannot let them abandon the house after the evening, because the situation is so critical.
Yes, and we cannot even imagine, as usual with the realities of Gaza, we cannot even imagine how the mothers and fathers and families feel not knowing, not knowing where their child is or what has happened to them. We know one thing, though, that from many media accounts, Israel has no respect for the dead. They did not respect Palestinians when they were alive, and now they are returning bodies from their prisons and torture centers and so called hospitals, and they are missing organs. They show incredibly brutal signs of abuse. In some cases, the containers are only the bones. What has happened there? The horrors and the horrors simply keep building on you, brother. I don't understand how you stay who you are.
Yes, yes, brother. Yeah, yeah. It is the so critical situation. Maybe words cannot express how
No,
much we are suffering. It is very, very awful life, you know. Our daily life is painful. If you try to survive, it will be so challenging issue for you. Even if you want to try to search about the fate of those children who are lost, you cannot find any
no,
concrete evidence. You don't
nothing,
know
nothing.
because yeah, yeah, because you haven't this child back, either alive or dead body. You cannot touch any trace of him. No.
And
Yes,
in the
yes.
middle, you said you've had fairly decent supplies of food lately, Muhammad, although you must still risk your life to go out and find it and to purchase it when it should be coming to you free. But it's been very difficult to find clean, potable water. You have been drawing water from ancient wells, which, of course, like Gaza, is near the sea, and so the deep water is mixed with some degree of salt water from the ocean that you must boil it. And then on top of that, we have seen months and months of fighting in the streets between Hamas fighters who are on the defensive and members of families who are seeking revenge for the murders of their children by Hamas. So these people are fighting an almost civil war. And then there is now, since our last talking, you've been talking about a crime wave, small robberies, murders, beatings, attacks of all kinds of people on each other, brother. What is happening in the streets of Balah as we speak today? What is happening in the
Yeah.
streets of Balah?
Yes, yes, brother. Actually, for me as Muhammad, I am following so strict and so rigid security procedures. For me, I am imposing some sort of siege over myself. After 6 p.m. or 5:30, I don't abandon the house. I don't abandon the house because it will be so risky. The streets, especially in the night, you know the scene. We have a total darkness. There is no electricity in Gaza. You have to imagine this situation. We have necessity. So after the dusk, all the scene is turning into black and dark. You know. So after the night, after the dusk come, all Deir al Balah is turning into black and dark. And we have some gangs, some thieves, some armed groups. They are operating in the streets. They are operating in the streets and moving from one street to another. Of course, they are searching for some people in order to steal them, in order to
To rob them?
to beat them. Yeah.
Yes,
Uh, so
yes.
the situation is very, very, very bad. There is no security. There is no peace. In the same time, Hamas is not able to make to provide any security for the people, because Hamas from inside is destroyed. You know, this war has destroyed most of the power of Hamas. So the situation is very, very bad. We have total disappearance for the peace. We have no values. People, unfortunately, most of the people have lost their values. You know, our original values, which we have inside the Palestinian society. Unfortunately, I am so sad that we have lost most of these values. You know, so the situation is very, very bad. A lot of people also are dealing with selfishness. They are only looking for their interests. You know? We have no cooperation between the people. We have no cooperation because as I told you, we haven't our values, our original values.
And all this is happening in the streets, the crime, the poverty, the suffering from various medical conditions that cannot be helped because the humanitarian aid is still being withheld. All this is happening in streets that are filled with plastic tents, that are leaking, that are flooded, that are crowded with refugees. The streets themselves are filled with these plastic tents. A couple of programs ago, you showed me a shot with your camera outside, and the tents are right up next to your house, as far as the eye can see. I don't understand how you get through it, brother. I don't know. Tell us anything else you would like to report on, things that we have not seen in the larger media, because they are still not allowed in. Israel does not want the world media to show what is happening in Gaza.
Yeah, I will describe you something important related to this issue, the life of the tents people. Actually, in the night, every family inside each tent is keeping at least one person not sleeping in the night. He stay not asleep.
Yes.
In order to behave like a guard for the tent, for the family, you know, because simply this tent is so vulnerable. You haven't defenses, you haven't walls, you haven't concrete roof. If a gang or a thief decides to attack you, he will directly come through and inside the tent, and he will harm you. So every family inside each tent is keeping one person not sleeping in order to provide the security for the other sleeping members along the night.
Yes, and brother, we mentioned earlier that you've said that recently it has been a little bit easier to find some food, but most of the food and supplies of many kinds is not getting through. Is that correct? Israel is still holding back most of the supplies?
We have some sorts of food are blocked by the Israelis. They are not allowed. They are not licensed in order to come through Gaza. But it's not the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge is the prices. Unfortunately, prices recently in the previous days are increasing, especially the protein sources, the food which is rich with the protein, fishes, frozen chicken, eggs, milk, etc. Those food are food sorts are very expensive. If you want to buy one chicken, you have to pay almost $20.
And brother, I think maybe you have frozen here, but the glaring obvious problem, the elephant in the room is almost all the aid that comes to you is clearly labeled in English and Arabic, not for sale. Not for sale. Who is stealing all the aid and who is making all the money? I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen, as often happens in our programs, we have lost contact, but Muhammad does his best instantly to try to come back and rejoin us. So I really appreciate, and we really appreciate your patience and your understanding that he's in a war and disaster zone. It's lucky that we're getting through at all. This has been the reality just, well, down the years of our programs together, over 60 of which you can see at my channel 37 Dionysus here at YouTube. Also, if you want to get to know Muhammad and his family in a very close way, please go to Jack Dempsey Writer at WordPress.com, Jack Dempsey Writer at WordPress.com, and you'll see many wonderful photos of all the work they did to rebuild their house over the years and the 3 and more times that they have been kicked out of their home by this unbelievable assault on Gaza by Israel. Hello, brother, you're back. We lost you for a moment. I'm very glad you're back. So I was asking you, brother, well, what more do you want to talk about that we do not see in the media, brother, that is happening for every common average Palestinian person and family in that area? What else is happening?
Yes, but yeah. Maybe we have started the storm. And now we have some strong winds. Yeah, maybe the storm has begun. Yeah. Actually, but now the people are so anxious and so about the storm because, as I told you last time, it was a very destructive storm. People are afraid that maybe the storm will be.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for the audio problem. We have not really been able to understand Muhammad's words. Test your microphone, brother. Say something to me. Are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I hear.
This is something that Israel and Hamas and who knows who else likes to do, to frustrate our connection, to break it up any way they can, because Muhammad and I always share things that you do not see in the general media. Brother, can you hear me okay? And would like to hear from you.
Yes, I hear.
Well, we may have to end the program, brother, because we cannot hear your audio. Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear.
I'm sorry, brother, but I guess we'll have to close the program for today because we cannot understand your audio. It is very chopped up. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I hope you'll stay aware of the daily problems of Palestinians in Gaza and find a way to demand from your own government that policy changes create help for these people as soon as possible. Brother, thank you very much. As you can see, we've lost him again. So we all, I think, thank Brother Muhammad for this program today, and we thank you very much for putting in the time to hear what is happening with them. We'll see you next time very soon.